Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing a high-speed breakdown of the most critical global tech and policy news for the week of July 6th to 12th, 2026. We've got a massive amount of ground to cover, so let's get right to it.
In a stunning move that caught the entire industry completely off guard, Apple is officially taking OpenAI to court. The core allegation here is a highly coordinated trade secret theft campaign, highlighting the fact that more than 400 former Apple employees have now relocated to OpenAI. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. Apple sues OpenAI over trade secrets.
On July 10th, Apple filed a major lawsuit against OpenAI in federal court. Now, Apple isn't framing this as just ordinary talent movement. They're calling it an orchestrated campaign tied directly to OpenAI's aggressive push into consumer hardware. Remember, just 2 years ago, these companies were practically best friends, shipping ChatGPT inside Apple Intelligence together. The landscape has clearly shifted. The specific allegations against two central figures really highlight how severe this dispute is. First, you have Tang Tan, formerly Apple's vice president of product design and now the hardware chief over at OpenAI. Apple accuses him of explicitly emailing critical supplier information to himself before he left. Then there's Cheng Lu, a senior engineer with an 8-year tenure at Apple. He's accused of failing to return a company laptop and using it to download strictly confidential technical documents. So Apple is alleging a scheme at every level. For their part, OpenAI has flatly denied this, stating on the record that they have absolutely no interest in other companies' trade secrets.
Section 2. Microsoft slashes global workforce.
Shifting over to the corporate restructuring space. On July 6, Microsoft announced a sweeping overhaul of its operations. And the sheer scale here is significant. They eliminated approximately 4,800 roles across the board. To put that number into perspective, that's roughly 2% of their entire global workforce. This wasn't just a minor trim, it was a fundamental realignment of their strategy in the face of shifting economic pressures.
What's really interesting about this slide is the profound strategic divergence it highlights. We're seeing 1,600 immediate cuts landing right in the gaming division, which are actually expected to reach 3,200 by the end of the fiscal year. That's around 20% of the global Xbox workforce just gone. Alongside this, 4 game studios are being spun off entirely. But here's the critical context you need to hold on to. These severe cuts happened at the exact same time Microsoft is maintaining absolute record capital spending on AI infrastructure. They're pouring billions into servers and data centers. And all of this is unfolding after a punishing 30% slide in their share price, which essentially erased $1.2 trillion of market value over just 9 months. So they're basically betting the farm on AI while drastically tightening the belt everywhere else.
Section 3. SK Hynix's historic market listing.
Let's see how this builds into the broader hardware market with SK Hynix's highly anticipated NASDAQ debut on July 10th. They're a primary manufacturer of the high-bandwidth memory that sits right next to AI processors in data centers at giants like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and Meta. Trading under the ticker SKSHY, they absolutely shattered the previous record for the largest United States listing by a foreign company. They raised a staggering $26.5 billion, easily eclipsing Alibaba's 2014 record of about $25 billion. Demand was simply enormous, which makes perfect sense when you realize they currently hold roughly a 60% market share in AI data center memory.
But then came an incredibly violent market reversal. Almost out of nowhere, SK Hynix's shares in Seoul suddenly plunged 15.4%. It was their absolute worst trading day in almost 20 years, forcing an emergency trading halt. Meanwhile, their U.S. shares also spiraled, giving back about 8% from their first-day close. This wasn't some slow decline. It was a rapid, aggressive sell-off that caught institutional investors completely off guard. It's a really stark reminder of the extreme volatility currently gripping the entire AI hardware sector, even for companies with overwhelming market dominance.
Section 4. The arrival of full-duplex AI. Pivoting back to software, July 8th marked a massive leap in human-computer interaction with the release of OpenAI's new voice models, GPT-Live. As you can read here, full-duplex architecture is an engineering framework where a system listens and speaks at the exact same time, handling pauses and interruptions instantly. It completely removes that awkward processing delay. And this brilliantly illustrates the death of that old, rigid walkie-talkie style of turn-taking that has plagued every single voice assistant up until now. We're finally crossing the threshold into true, fluid conversational AI.
The immediate rollout details for GPT-Live are pretty comprehensive. 2 distinct models shipped on the exact same day. GPT-Live 1 acts as the default for paying subscribers, while GPT-Live 1 Mini is the highly capable default for free users. With the newly optimized GPT 5.5 running in the background, this technology was deployed seamlessly across iOS, Android, and web platforms all at once. It's a huge step forward for widespread accessibility.
Section 5. Anthropic expands Claude's capabilities.
For this segment, we're consolidating two major updates to Anthropic's ecosystem from July 7th and July 9th. First up is Claude Cowork. The device transitions here are completely seamless. Step 1, you start a complex task on your laptop. Step 2, the AI continues the work autonomously on Anthropic's background servers. That means the work keeps going at full speed even if you turn all your personal devices completely off. Step 3, you simply review the completed work later on your phone. But you know what the most surprising fact underneath this launch is? More than 90% of what people actually do with Cowork isn't software development. The AI agent race has officially spilled over into standard office workflows.
The second major story in this expansion is the release of Claude Reflect. This is an advanced dashboard that explicitly shows users their own AI usage patterns. It tracks the topics you bring to Claude, pinpoints your most active day and peak hour, and logs your total chat volume, complete with break reminders for digital well-being. TechCrunch actually had a rather pointed analysis of this, noting that a feature transparently showing you exactly how much you rely on a product is also, quietly, a brilliant feature that actively sells that product right back to you. It's a powerful retention tool disguised as a helpful analytics dashboard.
Section 6. EU mandates driver attention systems.
Finally, shifting gears to European regulatory policy. A major transportation mandate came into legal force on July 7th under the European Union's General Safety Regulation. It strictly mandates the inclusion of an advanced driver distraction warning system. Now, this isn't just some passive warning light. It relies on an active infrared camera that continuously monitors a driver's eyes and head position in real time. It issues immediate, escalating warnings when your attention leaves the road for too long. Crucially, advanced emergency braking capabilities, specifically designed to detect cyclists and pedestrians, are legally required right alongside it.
Walking through the compliance timeline on this slide, you'll see that while new vehicle types have had to comply since July 2024, as of July 7, 2026, this system is now unconditionally mandated for every single new passenger car and van registered anywhere in the EU. There are zero exceptions. The crucial point to take away from this is the ultimate goal, known as Vision Zero. This comprehensive safety package is aggressively projected to save more than 25,000 lives by the year 2038, fundamentally altering the safety baseline of European roadways.
We've unpacked a tremendous amount of information today, covering everything from the Apple OpenAI legal clash and Microsoft's strategic workforce cuts to SK Hynix's volatile IPO, OpenAI's duplex voice models, Anthropic's software expansions, and the EU's strict new vehicle safety mandates. So, I want to pass it over to you now. Which of these 7 stories deserves a full-length explainer? Let us know down in the comments so we know what to dive into next. Thank you so much for joining this week's Rapid Fire Digest, and keep learning.